Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Borossy. I share my life living with MS and how that affects me on a day-to-day. I started sharing my journey way back when, before I was even diagnosed, not realizing that I had MS and that that's what they were testing me for. I thought that I was suffering from postpartum complications, like I was having a lot of back issues, a lot of stiffness and pain, and there was just a lot of things going on in my back and in my mobility. I was having struggles with using my legs properly. They would give in from time to time. I would stumble a lot. I started experiencing numbness in my legs, and I thought that it was all related to my back. I just assumed that I had like a trapped nerve or like a pinched nerve or whatever, how you say. And I went to a chiropractor to seek help for that, but turns out, like, long story short, if you want to hear the full version, I have in my MS playlist that I always link down below my videos on YouTube, like everything from before the diagnosis, like the process of going through the testing and then finding out that I have MS. But long story short, I later found out that I in fact had MS and not suffering from any hernia or anything like that, which was what I thought I had. But recently I shared a video on TikTok that got quite a lot of attention, and I didn't expect it, really. I didn't think it was that different from any of my other videos, but it caught a lot of attention, and people were submitting really good questions, and I thought I would talk a little bit about my journey with walking. So, like, early onset of MS, without knowing that I had MS, like one of the few first symptoms that I have was related to my legs, and that I wasn't able to walk very well. I was very I felt I was losing my balance a lot. I had my knees would lock in a very strange way. One would overextend to the back, and one would go forwards, and I would fall down. And I suppose that in that moment I was experiencing an MS attack, and little by little those symptoms improved like they normally do. Maybe not to its fullest capacity, but they did improve, and I started having other symptoms. But if I just focus on the walking thing as a symptom for today, it's quite interesting. So that was my first symptom. First, my left toe fell asleep completely, like the tip of my toe, and it's still sleeping. And the numbness spread to my foot, and then later traveled up my leg, and within a few days, I was numb from the waist down. I had troubles walking. I developed foot drop. That I didn't know what foot drop was at the time, but that's what I know that it is now. So I was dragging one foot more than the other. I felt like I had to swing my leg forwards with the help of my hip to be able to take steps. But like I said, that I got interrupted, so I don't know really where I left off. But going back to my walking issues, so that improved after a few weeks. I felt other symptoms, I was very tired, very fatigued. It was a struggle to walk in the sense that my stamina was very low, like I felt tired very quickly, that kind of thing, but I was able to use my legs normally. They would give in, if I got scared, I would feel this strange feeling of my legs giving in, and I would fall over. But in between, I was walking normally, and then little by little, I could feel like my knees got less and less stable, and I realized that if I was wearing heels, then I could walk around without a care in the world. So I started wearing heels every day. I was working at the time, and I don't know, looking back, sometimes I'm thinking of all the stupid things I did, but I just thought that, well, if this is working, then that's what I'm gonna do. And then fast forward a few years, I've been on my DMT, so like I've been taking Ocrevus. I've still felt the progression in my disease. I've still felt like I've been getting worse and worse. And every summer I've been hospitalized. Like I've had attacks every year, even though I've been on Ocrevus, and it's been really hard for me. But last summer, so the summer of 2024, I had my last attack and I was admitted to the hospital, but due to optic neuritis. So I've had it before, I've had optic neuritis before. I'm not going to get into that in today's video, but that's what led me to be hospitalized, because they could see that my vision was going. I was losing my vision during my testing, and I went from having good vision to having just 40% left of my vision field in my left eye. So I have like good vision if I look straight ahead, like I can read really small letters and all of that, but if here I'm blind, like all around here I'm blind, and I was having double vision at the time, and there was just a whole lot of things going on. So they admitted me, and I had to stay in the hospital for 5 days, hooked up to steroids, like corticoid steroids, which we now know that I'm allergic to. Maybe that's why I was progressing, but I didn't know. I just knew that I was admitted to the hospital for optic neuritis, and after 5 days I could no longer walk, and that really startled me. That really scared me. I ended up in a wheelchair, like I've said, and I was, unable to move. I didn't have a wheelchair at home or anything, but every time I had to go to the doctor's office, which was the only time I left my house, I had to go by wheelchair, and this was, like a shock to me. I didn't understand why this was happening, and after a few weeks, like I had an appointment with my neurologist, and he suggested that we would try something called Fampira, which is the medication that I posted about in my TikTok video. And I was getting so many questions about this medicine and the way they described it to me. So I'm not a doctor, like I don't know how to word things properly, but bear with me. So the pharmacist specialist explained it like, when you have a nerve that is damaged, let's say this is a nerve and it's broken in the middle and the signals cannot travel through, or it's traveling slowly. So the idea is that Fampira is giving the signal a little bit of a push so it can jump from one side to the other side. Like that's how they explained it to me. Remember I asked them to explain it in a way like a child would understand, so that's how I'm explaining it to you. But it made sense, and I wanted to try. And he said to me like, we're gonna put you on it for 2 weeks. You will probably suffer some side effects, and if it's severe, then you have to stop. Like, don't push yourself, because some people won't tolerate this drug. And I will see you again in 2 weeks, and we'll see what the results are if you have improved your walking, because this is solely targeting walking. Later on, I learned that as a side effect, like a bonus positive, is that it can help with brain fog as well. And I felt that, and I told him I feel like my brain fog has lifted slightly, and he was like, yeah, well that's Fampira, so that's good. But anyway, so the first 2 weeks was horrendous. I had headaches, like I'm talking migraines every day, and every day around noon, so around 12 o'clock, I would get this horrible stomach pain, almost too much to bear, and those two side effects lasted for the 2 weeks. And then I got to see the pharmacist again, and I told him all the symptoms that I was experiencing, and I can tell you by day 4 on the drug, I started noticing my walking abilities improving, which was just like, that's why I continued to suffer the side effects for the 2 full weeks, because I could see an improvement in my walking. My spasms were less, so I have like ataxia, I think it's how they described it, but I also have spasms and tremors, and it's a cocktail of symptoms that make it hard for me to walk. So it's not like I have no contact with my legs. I do have contact with my legs, they just don't do exactly what I want them to do, and sometimes they will do more than I want them to do. So but anyway, he he also could see an improvement, so I had to do testing, like I had to walk in a straight line. They timed me, they would see how many steps I could take and that kind of thing. So when I started it, I couldn't walk at all. Like I was sitting down and they had to help me walk around. So by day 4 I was managing with my cane to take me from A to B, but like very short distances. I'm talking from the sofa to the dining table. I'm not talking long distances here. But I wasn't able to do that from the beginning. So that was an improvement, and I thought that if I could continue then little by little with some physiotherapy, then maybe I could improve. And because I had felt that slight improvement in the midst of the darkest time I've ever had, because I had so many symptoms at the moment, and in that moment it wasn't just my walking, it was my vision that had gone. Like I have really bad neuropathic pain, like I had spasms, tremors, like all the things. So I felt like there was no part of my body that was not affected by MS, and the fact that my walking was improving and that my brain fog lifted slightly, I felt like if that's improving, then it's gonna give me more strength to deal with all the rest that was going on. So I felt very grateful for Fampira, and I know not everybody tolerates it. It's not. Some of you have said that you've tried it and it haven't had an effect on you. Maybe you didn't try long enough, or maybe it's just not suitable for you, but I don't know if there is an alternative for Fampira, and I don't know if it's covered by insurance or that kind of thing, depending on where in the world you are. So I live in Spain, and here I'm very lucky, like our healthcare system, like my treatment and my Fampira is covered by my social security. So if it wasn't, I would not be able to have it, because I could not afford buying it myself. So like I said, I'm very grateful, and I felt in the moment when I started it and I saw a positive effect that I wanted everybody to know about this medicine, because for me, like, it changed my life. And I feel like if we don't tell our neurologist, like, this is my issue, this is what I need help with, like, they won't know, and some of them won't suggest this to you. So perhaps if you are suffering from some kind of walking issue and you have MS, then at least speaking to your neurologist and see what options are available to you. But I've had some negative experiences too. Like I forgot to take it one day, and then I took it again, or if I took it too close together, like, I can't really remember what the reason was, but I had an episode of reacting badly to the medicine, and I really want to emphasize this because it was super scary. Like, I went paralyzed from my shoulders up, so like my neck and my head was hanging. I could not lift my head, I could not control anything above my shoulders, and I got really sick. I was like on the verge of fainting. I got myself to the bathroom. Like, I was experiencing the most horrendous symptoms. Like, it was, I don't know how graphic I should be, but like, I had to be on the toilet while I was about to get sick, and I needed help. So like, my fiance was holding up my head for me, and this episode lasted for about half an hour, and I thought I was gonna have to call an ambulance to go in, but after 30 minutes my strength came back, not fully, but it came back. I could lift my head again. The feeling of fainting had disappeared. And I spent the day lying down on the sofa, and my mom was there guarding me to see if she had to take me into the hospital. And then a couple of days later I got to see my pharmacist again. And I explained to him what had happened, and we thought maybe I was having an MS attack. But he informed me, and he said that no, this is that probably was Fampira that you had a bad reaction to. And he said, I'm not happy that this happened to you. If you ever feel anything slightly or remotely like this again, you will have to come off the drug. And I was really upset, and I started crying, and I couldn't see my life without Fampira. And I said to him, I prefer to continue, and hopefully this is just a blip on the, I don't know, the whole saga. So he let me continue with it. It hasn't happened since, and I've been on it for a few months after that. So fingers crossed that nothing else is gonna happen. But you have to be aware of the side effects. As with anything, nothing comes without it. Nothing comes without its side effects. So you need to see the how do you say, you have to weigh the pros and cons to see if it's something that would suit you. But I'm very happy with it. I'm happy I started. I haven't had much luck with medication so far, so I'm happy that I found something that seems to be working. But yeah, I felt like sharing this with you after seeing so much interest in the topic, and I'll link my TikTok as well down below. I've been having fun with it for a couple of weeks. I haven't been using it much before, but yeah, I'm starting posting there too, so if you want to have a look, you can. But I want to thank you for subscribing to my channel, for becoming a part of my community here. And if you haven't checked out my Spoonie Friends group, please go ahead and do that. And I love you so much, and thank you for all your sweet comments, and God bless. I love you, and I see you soon. Much love.